Welcome to the Mind is Psychic, where we talk music, addiction, comedy, culture. If you like this content, please leave feedback and subscribe. Let's get into it. On today's episode, I'm going to do a 180. I'm going to talk about aliens. It's something that has always fascinated me and I find really intriguing. So let's get to it. I've always thought that they were out there. I've always thought the universe is too vast for us to be the only organisms out there with the billions or trillions of stars, planets, all of that stuff. I really, really don't believe that we're the only ones. And that's the bottom line. With culture, with conspiracies, with the Roswell thing in 47, with Area 51, it's always intrigued my interest. I've always thought, how cool would it be to actually meet an alien? I think that one day, maybe not in my time, but one day that someone or something will get in touch with us or we will get in touch with them and we will have contact. I mean, there's plenty of movies out there. Everything, it's just with all of the different types of media out there about aliens and all of the sightings of UFOs and whatever they call it now. It's always going to be UFOs to me. Sorry. Just it just makes it easier to explain, even though unidentified flying objects is just one category. And in recent years, at least that I'm familiar with, they now use the term unidentified aerial phenomenon, which is short for UAPs. The one interesting thing now about all of this alien stuff is Congress in 2022 decided to put something in the law. And what they put in the law was called AARO, which stands for All Domain Autonomy Resolution Office. Now, I'm probably pronouncing some of those words wrong, but who cares in this little podcast of mine? But it's jointly managed by the DoD, Department of Defense, and the Office of the DNI, Director of National Intelligence. Its main purpose is to be straightforward with the public and try to not have so much secrets as there have been in the last 80 years or so. We'll see how that goes. It's government. But the point that I want to get out here is I just want to have a discussion about aliens, something about them. Let's take Roger from American Dad, for instance. That's probably the coolest alien in culture that I've noticed, other than ET. Now, ET is the GOAT, phone home, another Little Wayne song. But getting back onto the aliens, between ET and Roger, I think this world will be a whole lot better. And I'm not looking at aliens as something like on the scary side, like they're going to take over and put us into slavery or kill us in one fell swoop. I think what it is if we make contact or they come to the planet just wondering about what the third rock from the sun is like, we may be surprised at what they want. 9 times out of 10, they're going to have way more technology than we are. Whether they can speak our language or languages is another story. I know back in the 70s, there was a gold record that was sent into space with the Voyager 2, if I'm not mistaken, with a whole bunch of different mediums on there, from music to math to, everything in between. Now, whether they get that or not, or they can communicate, we shall see. But I really think that aliens, especially now, play a huge role in the entertainment media field, I guess you would say. It gets you thinking as well. Ancient aliens, been watching for years and years. And yeah, they can say, that's a conspiracy, everything like that. But when tens of thousands of people, maybe more, over the last how many decades have seen this, have seen UAPs, have seen UFOs, have seen things that you really can't explain, understand. It's got to be something, right? It's got to be, advanced technology that the government is keeping from us. I mean, I believe there are too many circumstances and too many sightings that that's the case. And then you also have too many animal mutilations that have been, investigated, too many crop circles around the world. And this isn't like in one area. This is all over. So how can it not be how can aliens not exist? It's not like we're not trying to look for them. Between the SETI program, which I believe started in the 70s, but it's basically involved their whole point is to look for signs of intelligence through radio signals and other communications. No definitive evidence has ever been found, but the search continues with projects like Breakthrough Listen Initiative. So I think that's pretty cool that they're still trying to do some sort of investigation, research, and so forth. I know that's not on like the priority of the government necessarily, or it was before about allocating funds to that. I think it would be cool to continue that or even give them a bigger budget because that could be something, how we do deals with other countries. Maybe we can do deals with aliens. Who knows? Now, this is all just me talking hypotheticals, but I really do believe that, as I mentioned 85 other times in this, that aliens exist. We just haven't met them yet. The universe is huge. I mean, I know we went to the moon. Yes, there's conspiracy behind that, many saying that that didn't happen, that it was a government conspiracy and all of that. And you're going to also see a theme, and that's going to be my new word, I think, is theme on my podcast because everything I think can relate to one thing or the other. But so we went in 1969 to the moon. I want to continue to believe that we did, that we had that advanced technology to be able to do that. Yes, we did it super quick. There are many very intelligent humans out there. So I believe that we did. You can prove me wrong all you want, but my belief is, but I've always found it interesting and looking through a telescope when I was young, it felt peaceful to me looking up at the stars, looking at the planets. And even back then, it's something that's peaceful to me. And it was able for a short period to get me out of whatever I was dealing with, even though it was like an hour or two. I remember going to the mall and seeing the different types of telescopes. And I remember the one we bought. This was in like 97 or 98. It came with a program and maybe wondering the same thing. What am I? What is this strange thing? But at the end of the day, trying to understand it, And that's one of the points that I wanna make too, is there are people out there that spend their entire lives looking for extraterrestrials, aliens, and good for them that they have that passion to do that day in and day out. I would love to find a passion that big and that large and believe in something that much, which I have in the past, and I do to this day. Let's say tomorrow we make contact. What do you think the first question we should ask them? Many may ask, are you going to hurt us? How far did you travel? Are there more like you? Have you encountered any on the way to us? And these are all just blanket questions that I can think of. And I know there's probably more intellectual questions and I think it's important to ask. If this did happen, who gets to ask the questions upon contact? Would it be the president of the United States? Would it be a coalition of leaders around the world, like a committee? Or would it just be Joe Bob in the middle of Minnesota? Which I'll take that too. Keep it for the people. That's what I think. And, maybe, just maybe, we won't get contacted at all and they'll just blow our planet up. Now, that's kind of a gruesome thought, but it should be thought of. It should be brought up that maybe they want to do us harm, they want to enslave us, but maybe not. Maybe we can become best friends with them and they can give us the fountain of youth, so to speak, that there would never be any more disease, that we could live forever. Who knows? Maybe they can teach us their version of basketball or their favorite sport. Maybe, who knows? But these are all questions that I think I want to ask. And I believe in the conspiracies as well. I do believe that Roswell in 1947, I do believe to use it for our benefit, maybe against other countries, or maybe for the advancement of the human race by being able to go to different planets like Mars and colonize a different planet. Because us humans love to colonize other areas, which I think this one would be a really cool way of doing things. Moving to a different planet, being able to go up in space and to make that leap to a different planet and live would be spectacular. I would be the first one to go for it, even though I'd probably be the last one offered that unless I became super, super rich. And then I would just do what Elon Musk did and start a space company, start SpaceX. But I think I would call it Alien and Visionary. That's what I would call my company. And I would focus on settlements. I would broker with and contract with companies that already have space flights and all that equipment. And so I could just focus on the colonization of a planet. Now, I haven't figured out what planet I want because, again, this is just me talking because this is a very different topic for my podcast. And I really enjoy aliens and conspiracies and what ifs and all of that stuff. And I'm glad that people are taking it more serious. I'm glad that call us the foil cat brigade, which it's okay to be one. You're not harming anybody for the most part. You're trying to get answers, or hey, maybe somebody's talking to you. We're not in your brain, so necessarily we don't know. So on that note, I wanted to just bring it back a little to the main subject of my podcasts because I can put anything together and mix match so it'll make sense. Did you get what I said there about the voices? Maybe there's a mental illness there, or maybe they're telling the truth that they actually heard something. So, on that note, I plan on doing more episodes like this, and I hope you enjoyed this installment of Aliens and what to expect and my view. I'm out. Thank you for tuning in. Please subscribe and leave a comment. You can hear me on all major platforms and socials under the Mind of Psychic podcast. See you next time.